We've got a quick update on the Morris today. After doing a bit of work with my brother a few weeks ago, I have a new thermostat housing to replace this one. It's cracked in several places after having to wail on it to get it off. So that was just a temporary setup with bolts on it. I've got some proper studs ordered to go there. I've got a whole lot of parts ordered, so I'm just waiting on those. I'll need to take the radiator out again. It does appear to be leaking down there somewhere. It's sort of weeping. I've got some more panels of floor taken out. These are surprisingly difficult. They have these screws holding these panels together, which is quite good in terms of, you know, you can take out which panels you want to have out so you can work on the vehicle at any given time. But the captive nuts that are down, some of them are under the frame, are extremely difficult to get out. And of course the screw just spins or doesn't spin in that setup, so you've got to grind them off, and that's really difficult to do without hitting the floor. This piece isn't a separate panel, unfortunately, and that's rusted right through on the side there, so I'm going to have to do something with that. I've just cleaned it and sprayed it with kill rust stuff for now. I've ordered some parts for the clutch. It's the brake, the clutch. These are Lockheed master cylinders, both the clutch and the brake. So what I want to do today is just tidy them up a bit, get them off, and just assess where they're at. Of course, all the rubbers have perished and leaking, and there are parts available, but we've got to identify the right cylinder to get the right seals and things for it. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to just tinker away with that today. A lot of this I didn't film, but it was just thick with oil and dirt stuck on it. This sort of thing, you can't even see really what's underneath it. So with a bit of a scraper and a screwdriver and a hammer, chipping that off. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. Still working on the old thing. So I've got one nut taken off the clutch master cylinder. I'm just working on the other one here. It's a bit hard to film and do it, but I'll give it a shot. I'm going to have to crack the nut first before I use the ratchet on the bolt end. See if I can put you there. Let's try that. Yep, of course that's turning. Getting dirt in your eyes yet? You'd think that the spanner would stay on there because it's so hard to get on. It wouldn't fall off, but there we go. I love that crack of a nut coming loose. Not much room to move, but it's enough. you see an easier way of doing this, you probably can. Anyway, you get the idea. Well, it's pretty noisy in here with a heavy rain shower, but just an update on the clutch situation. I've got the master cylinder out of the Morris and all disassembled here. So the clutch master cylinder and the brake master cylinder are identical as far as I can tell. So I've got them all cleaned up, waiting on parts. And I've got can hear a bit of thunder, sorry about the noise. Got a new slave cylinder. Hopefully it's all good. Looks to be the right size, doesn't it? And a clutch fork boot as well. We'll chuck that in there, tidy all that up, and then put it all back together. This hose here looks to be in reasonable nick. I'll tidy that up with a wire brush and just see what that looks like. Yeah, so I'm going to rip this off and chuck this one on. I just thought it was easier to buy a whole new slave cylinder at, yeah, it wasn't too expensive to do it that way. However, the master cylinder I'm going to rebuild. It's quite a bit cheaper. Just noticed that this has a nut missing. I've got a little screw missing, so I'll see if I can find one somewhere. Alright, I'll get cracking. Always got to be prepared for some fluids dripping out. We'll just hang that out of the way for now. Actually, I might take that out and give it a tidy up. It's going to have a bit of gunge here and there. Might be able to tidy that up in situ. Just have it out of the way for now. That hose may be not so great after all, but we'll see. You've really got to lean on some of these bolts. No, that's good. And this one looks pretty rusty. It's always the spanner you don't have, isn't it? That's better. Oh, yep. Don't you love that? I think I'll be replacing this bolt, although I've been amazed the bolts, nuts and bolts that I've cleaned up have been really good. They clean up really well. It's amazing. Once one nut's cleaned the threads off, it works a bit better. Go, I'll chuck them back on there. Alright, that's that guy. I'll take that out and give it a little tidy up. I'm going to need that push rod. That should clean up alright, hopefully. And this, yeah, just look at how brittle that is. Of course, being so old, sitting out in the desert for so many years, you got to expect that. And this one will come off easily enough, I guess. Yeah, look at that. Got a new one to go on there, but of course I'll clean this up a little bit first, give all that a clean. The good thing is, with the hole being here, I'm not going to get any rubbish falling in it, hopefully. While it's off, I'll clean all this up as well. Here's a closer look at the clutch slave cylinder. New one, side by side. Now this one's probably still alright, it's just the rubber seals and everything will be stuffed. I'll chuck that on the wire wheel, tidy it up. so that should come up pretty good. I'll go ahead and do that and then put the camera back on it. Well, that's it all tidied up. I think that'll be pretty good. Goes in there. Don't want to come out again. It can stay there. Of course, it's going to need to have some brake fluid in it. Alright, I'll clean up the other surfaces and get it attached, hooked up with the new gator as well. Well, that's it. Tied it up a little bit, cleaned that those surfaces in there. That little fork arm comes out of the gearbox or the clutch. So put this new boot on there. It's kind of going to be a tight fit. It's not exactly round, but let's try. There's pieces of my glove coming off, not the boot, hopefully. Right, so there's the rubber gator on there. It's going to be noisy with the rain, but I'll leave the camera running while I chuck the slave cylinder on. WD-40 has been really helpful in on these rubber parts. Until you've got an empty can, that is. There we go. Oh, it turns around. So I want that to sit in there. To go on there. Like that. And I've cleaned up my bolt here. I'm going to reuse that. Now I don't know if I should have filled this up with a bit of clutch fluid before I went any further, but I figure I'm going to have to bleed it anyway, so that'll just have to do. I cleaned out the threads in the housing there. Those bolts seem to be going back in nicely. And finally, this guy. Like that. I'll nip that up a bit tighter. I'll nip all these up tighter once I've finished assembling it. Oops, there goes my light. It's nice and tight. That's nice and tight. And then I'll tighten this one down first. I guess I don't want to crush this yoke too much, so I might just back that off half a turn or so. Like that. But make sure that lock nut is tightened down onto it. Go. Yep. That looks pretty good to me. Just check a WD-40 on these because I've given it pretty hard with the wire brush. I don't want them to rust. Alright, that's that for now. Clutch slave cylinder fitted. I guess this will fill out and expand once it's got some fluid in there. I'll leave that little cover. There's a little cover on that nipple there. I'll leave that on for now. And this hose here, yeah, it's got a bit of crackage in it, but see if I can get away with that for now.